Hi guys, how are you? My name is Joanne, and welcome to my YouTube channel. And I know it's been a while since you were last here. The previous video that I posted was a while back, but I just thought that today we'd sit and maybe have a little chat. So feel free to comment, to share, to like. Yeah, and karibu sana. So, I sometimes in life tunakuanga na hii notion ya that we have messed up na kuna mistakes tumefanya that we can never recover from, and my life is messed up na hakuna vile I can make it back out of this hole that I'm in or something of that sort. But one thing that I've come to learn is that there are no mistakes in life. Hold on. I know, but yes, there are no mistakes in life. And sometimes zile vitu ambazo tunafaa kupitia kwa maisha, ambazo ni mbaya, na zingine ni mzuri in the long run, sometimes we might think that they are mistakes, but in reality, they are things that were actually supposed to happen the way that they happened to bring us to a place, to bring us into who we are actually supposed to be, and to bring us into the place that we were actually supposed to be at. So, what am I trying to say? For example, when you see a painter painting a picture, sometimes akianza, when they're starting, it might not really make sense. And sometimes it seems as if they're just scribbling. And you might see a mark here and a mark there, a stroke here and another stroke there. And at some point, when you're looking at the picture that they're painting, it might not even make sense to you. But they know exactly, the painter knows exactly what they are painting. So sometimes, looking from a layman's point of view, which we all are, you might think your stroke amemake by mistake, or that other stroke imefanywa by error. But finally, when you see the final product, the final painting, you realize that even that stroke that you thought was by mistake was actually necessary for it all to come together. And so you come to realize that everything that you are and everything that you have been through is for a reason. The moment that you realize that there are no mistakes in life, then somehow it all starts to make sense. We have to realize one thing, that, for example, in a room, there's either light or there's darkness. When you enter a room, either the lights are switched on, or there's natural light, or there's darkness. There's no in between. And the moment that you realize that there are no mistakes in life, you enter into a place of light. You realize that everything that you have been through was for a reason. And everything that you are is for a reason. And it is all going to take you to the place of your destiny and your purpose in this life. Okay? So the moment that you shed off that idea that some people even get to a point of thinking that they themselves are a mistake. Maybe I was born in the wrong family. Maybe I was abused. Maybe I was rejected, and maybe I'm an orphan or something of that sort. Na saa zingine unaangalia unaona, if only I had parents, or if only that abuse had not happened in my life, or if only that accident had not happened. And tunabaki na a lot of whys. Why? The moment that you realize that there are no mistakes in life and everything happens exactly the way it is supposed to happen, according to God's plan for your life, then you drop the whys. One critical thing I've learned in my life is the unimportance of why, especially when it regards to life. I used to have moments in my life where I will just ask myself, why? Why am I so this? Why am I so that? Why did that happen to me? Why did that happen to the other one? If only that had not happened, then life would be perfect. If only that had not happened, the other thing had not happened, then life would be perfect. God says that before we were put in our mother's womb, He actually predestined us for something. And the word of God, which is actually the truth, that is the truth of our lives, it actually says that God, even before He created us, He knew even the nation where we were supposed to be at. And sometimes there are people who sometimes think that you're even born in the wrong family. Sometimes you think, well, I think if I would have been born in America, it would have been just perfect. But the Word of God tells me that the place where you are put is exactly where you are supposed to be put. Like, si kwa sababu tu, it's not just because your mother and your father came together, that's why you are born into that family. No. God intended, it was an intentional effort. God intended for you to be born, for example, in Kenya, to the family of your father and your mother, just the way it happened. And so, instead of why, you get to a place of, one, being okay, and two, to a place of realizing that life is more than what we see. And it's more than what we are actually cultured to believe it is. Having said that, you can either believe the lie of your life or you can believe the truth. The lie comes in the whys and the life is a mistake and my life, I'm too far gone to be saved, and maybe the things that happened in my past can not allow me to achieve everything that I was supposed to achieve. And the truth is, everything that happened led me to where I'm supposed to be and led me to here so that I can be the best that God created for me to be, so that I can accomplish the destiny and the purpose that God created for me to accomplish. The funny part is, and the tricky part is, that most times when we choose to live according to the lies And when you choose to keep questioning the things that happened, and we choose the negative side of things, it actually displaces the truth that is. The moment that you allow the light in, you remember we were talking about when you walk in a room that you either find it light, you either find light or you find darkness. The moment that you allow the light in, and you allow the thought, it all begins with a thought. The moment that you allow the thought and the truth that you were created at such a time as this for a purpose, and you are put in that family for a purpose, and you are put in the nation that you are put in for a purpose, and everything that happened up to the point that you are at in life happened for a purpose, then you get to exactly the standpoint that you are supposed to be at to accomplish everything that God created you to accomplish. Depression often comes from non-acceptance, and especially non-acceptance of things as they are. And by non-acceptance, I don't mean it do not work hard at making a change in your life. Non-acceptance means I am here now, but I absolutely refuse to accept that, for example, it is what it is. Let me give you an example. A girl, for example, who goes through an incident of rape when they're younger, and they go through life dejected, believing that that single incident had the capacity to completely make them not deserve to live. There are people who, for example, commit suicide because of such an incident. And by no means do I mean that it is a small thing, and by no means am I trying to trivialize it. It is a big deal, and sometimes tragedies happen in life. But there are so many times in the Bible that we hear, do not fear. There are many times in the Bible we hear, do not be anxious. When you're told, for example, when I come and tell you, for example, do not fear, it means that you're in a position where you're absolutely supposed to fear. When I tell you do not be anxious, it means that you're in a position where you're absolutely supposed to be anxious. There's no reason for me to tell you do not be anxious if you have no reason to be anxious. We have to come to a place in life where we choose to take life as it is. For example, if one girl goes through abuse and decides that my life begins and ends at abuse, so that everything that they see in life, they see it through the glasses of abuse. And another person goes through the same incidents but decides, I will not let this one incident stop my life or define my life. Yes, it does have power to change things in your life, but it also has the capacity to catapult you to something greater. We have to get to a point of allowing light into our lives, and we have to get to a point of thinking more about life than sometimes we do. Sometimes we are cultured to just assume that you were born to go to school and then finish school, upass, upate A, ama whatever it is utapata, uende campus, you choose a career, and then you work hard at it, you get married, and then you get children, and then you die. Life is more. And the things that you go through, especially the difficult things, are the ones that set you up to actually experience life as it is supposed to be. Life is more than work. Life is more than the things that we go through. Life is more. And the moment that we choose to accept and take life for what it is, then we are so much better for it. So there's more to you. There's more to life. It's never over until God says it's over. And one choice that, if I'm talking to you, I know this video is not for everyone, but one step that you can take as a person, if you're at a point of thinking that my life is over, I can never get out of it, can never get better, I'd actually tell you to start maybe entertaining the thought that maybe all that happened that led you to where you're at was actually supposed to happen. Maybe start entertaining that thought. And from there, you start asking yourself, now what next? And what now? Everyone is made for more. You are made for more. You are made for a certain purpose and a certain mission. And even the time that you come into this earth, you come to accomplish something during that generation. You actually come to accomplish something in your lifetime. So if I am talking even about the smallest things, the things that we think that do not matter, that we think that do not matter. For example, you are made tall for a reason. You are made fat for a reason. You are made short for a reason. For example, the other day I was thinking about someone like Zacchaeus in the Bible, and were it not for his height, he will not gone up. He will not have gone up the tree. And if not, then Jesus will not have had an opportunity to call him down and to actually go and dine with him. He will not have an opportunity to have seen his desperation for light. And Zacchaeus' story actually served as a platform for Jesus to show that reconciliation with God and his love is not limited according to the amount and the level of your sins. It was an opportunity for Jesus to put a point across, to actually bring light into a situation. In their times, tax collectors were regarded as the worst. But just because of how Zacchaeus was, how he was created, it was an opportunity to preach the gospel. So I would like us to look, for example, there's a verse that I saw in Genesis 50:22, and it was about Joseph. One story that really speaks to me is the story of Joseph, and the place where he tells his brothers in Genesis 50:22, he tells them that what you intended for my harm, God actually used it for my good. And what does this mean? In the story of Joseph, Joseph was actually born in a family where he was so loved by his father because he was born in his old age. And Joseph was a dreamer. And he used to see dreams sent by God, na alikuwa anatumia hizo dreams, anajaribu kuambia ndugu zake. He used to tell his brothers, one day I'm going to be great, and this is going to happen to me, and you are one day going to bow down before me. And there's a time he even told his father, you know, you're all going to bow down before me. And his father even asked him, even I'm going to bow down before you. And Joseph, for me, I look at it sometimes and think he could have had a small, a tiny issue of pride, and he could have had that. See, I'll be great. Imagine even you, tuseme firstborn, you'll be bowing down before me. So every time, for example, watakuwa nje wakicheza wanasema, be careful, do not mess with greatness. And it was the truth that God intended for Joseph to be great. And it actually came to pass. And that is the case for each one of us. But look at the process that Joseph had to go through. Look at the absolute horror that sometimes he would go through. From Joseph being hated by his brothers and being thrown into a well, and then going back to his father and telling him he actually was mauled by an animal, and him being taken up and sold into slavery, and again being made a slave, and having to be in prison for a false accusation. And he got to a point where he could have had a reason to ask why, to really ask why. Why, God? Why do these bad things keep happening to me? But this was an opportunity for God to actually make Joseph. So that by the time he even gets to Pharaoh and he has an opportunity to interpret a dream for him, then he is a point of humility, so that he does not, Pharaoh tells him, it's you who is able to interpret this dream for me. But he said, no, it's God who is going to do that. Everything that happens shapes us in one way or another to get us to the point of our destiny. Look at it, that Joseph ended up in the house of another dreamer just like him. That's why he had an opportunity to interpret his dream for him. And finally, when he is actually made great, as we finish up, they get to a point where there was famine in the land where his brothers were, and they had to come to the land where he was sold to. And they came, and their whole family, even their father, came down to where Joseph was, and by now they could not even recognize him because of the place where the level where he had gotten to. And their father dies, and so the brothers of Joseph now are worried that maybe because of us throwing him into the well, maybe this might be a chance for him to revenge himself. And they were so afraid, and they came down bowing to Joseph, and they were crying, and they were telling him, you know, our father told you, alikwambia, you show us mercy. But Joseph, having allowed light in, and having allowed God's truth in, and this is what happens when when you take things as they are, and you realize that everything that happens for a reason. He said, no, everything that you intended to harm me, God intended it for my good. That is Genesis 50 verse 22. That is how we are supposed to look at life. Because that puts us in a position where we are able to accomplish everything that God created for us to accomplish. So you're not a mistake. Nothing that happened in your life is a mistake. So take courage. Take courage. Life is more than what you think, and life is more than what you expected. Saa zingine we are born expecting that I'm going to be this and this is going to happen and that is going to happen and then I'm going to reach here, but it doesn't go the way we want it to go. But I want you to know that you have a reason to cheer up, because everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to happen. Not according to your plan, but according to the plan of God, who is the one who created you. And He created you for a reason, and so you have no reason to worry. So stand up, rise, shine, allow the light in, allow the truth in. Do not be afraid, do not be worried, do not be anxious. Fear in itself is a lie. It's a lie to keep you stunted, to keep you there, to keep you stranded. So arise, cheer up. It's all going to be okay. It's all going to be fine. And in case you think that you have accomplished much, there's always much more in store. There's a reason why God tells us to call upon Him, because to call upon Him and to ask Him, because there's so much more than the eye has seen, than the ear has heard, that He has in store for those who love Him. So there's no reason, really, there's no reason to stay down. There's no reason really to stay afraid and to be dejected. When you really think about it, you have all the reason to be cheerful, and all the reason to face life with all the energy and all the power that it deserves. Because I believe that as long as you're alive, nothing is impossible. Your dreams are not too late. Your ideas are not too late. You're not too small to make an impact. I was telling my friend the other day that if you think that you're too small to make an impact, then try being in a dark room with a mosquito. Yeah, you'll not sleep. And that is a mosquito. How much more you, who God has put senses in and a brain that works like a machine. How much more? How much more can you accomplish? When you really think about it as a human being, no matter how bad the situation seems, there's no reason. There's no reason to be dejected. There's no reason to think that you're useless. It is a lie. It is all a lie. To think that there's nothing that you're a mistake, that there's nothing that you can accomplish, that unless niko na masomo yenye imefika sijui wapi, ama unless niko na job yenye sijui kwa aje, ndio naweza make sense kwa hii life. Hapana, no. God already put in you everything that you needed to succeed. God already put in you everything. You are self-contained. You are self-contained. God created you self-contained. If binadamu, a human being is able to create, for example, a TV set, to create something perfect, and you walk into a showroom to look at a car and you think, wow, this is the best thing that ever happened to man. Or you look at a TV set and you're like, wow, it's perfect. How much more the creator of the universe? How much more perfect are you, who are created by the creator, who was created by the creator of the universe? Think about it. So there's always much more to accomplish. There's always so much more. There's always so much more. If only we can stand and choose to look at things through the light of God, through the truth of God. So, yeah, God bless you. That was it for today. I know I've rambled a little bit, it's been a while, but feel free to share this video, comment down below, tell me what was the best part for you about this video. What did you get from it? What would you like to tell me? What would you like to add? And let's share. Feel free. Let's talk to each other. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Yeah. So bye. See you next time.